Do any of you have that friend who every once in a while finds a multiplayer game on Steam, buys a handful of copies, and gifts it to everyone they think might enjoy it? That's basically how Lost Castle fell into my lap. Beat-em-ups is a genre that I feel so burnt out on that sometimes I feel like it's impossible for me to enjoy them. I certainly have liked some in the past if they have enough personality or interesting things about them, like Castle Crashers to give an example, a game I actually liked enough to cosplay as one of the characters. And that's why I am happy to say Lost Castle really hits the mark for me, being interesting enough to hold my attention. Lost Castle is sort of a roguelike where you traverse through 5 randomly generated but consistently themed stages. You can trek this journey alone, or you can play it in both local multiplayer and online co-op. You'll start off relatively weak, but as you move on you'll find new weapons, armor, items, and power-ups. Weapons take on a general theme. You've got bows, staves, swords, spears, and the like. But what makes them unique is their stats and their special ability. This makes for some really interesting combinations of items. 2 people can have staves that fire the same, but one of them can have a special that sets up an attacking beacon, while the other might heal. In a group, this makes you really consider what the team's needs are, often opting for the more up-and-personal weapon when you need a tank of some sort, or a ranged weapon if you're pretty well handled in that area. In single player, however, this makes some of the weapons feel a little awkward. Just healing yourself can go far, but I don't know, it's just kinda weird. To get the most mileage out of this game, I highly recommend bringing along a friend or two, as that's when I had the most fun with it. I can see other people's experience being a little different depending on the friends though. It's really easy to be a bit of a shitter in this game, and luckily none of my friends I played with are. Grieving for laughs would be super easy, just run over and pick everything up, and what are they gonna do about it? Maybe that has its own appeal, but this is why I didn't play online with randoms, as that wasn't an experience I was looking for. If you've played or know Binding of Isaac, this is like its slightly less polished beat-em-up style cousin, but it also holds true to that feeling of building up your character as you advance in the dungeon. Maybe you'll want to hold on to those coins and not make a weapon from the merchant in case you need them later. Or you'll really regret flinging your bombs at that last boss when you come across a wall that can be blown up. Or you can just nearly kill yourself drinking an unknown potion. Or have a hella clutch moment when you barely manage to defeat a boss when all of your teammates are down and save the run. The game is built so that even though you're running through 5 somewhat similar levels, you'll always get a fairly varied experience. Death is frequent and expected, and when you die, it's back to the beginning for you. Fret not though, as with every death you'll grow a little bit more. Well, maybe as a player, but here I'm referring to the game's soul system. Upon killing an enemy or a boss, they drop their soul, and when you die or finish a run, you can spend these souls on a skill tree that's permanent through all your runs. Individually, these upgrades are not really all that impressive, but over time they really start to add up and you begin to feel the difference. As you grow, learning the different items, what you like, and enemy patterns, so too will your character. I don't want to paint this as a perfect game though, there are a couple problems. Yeah, the 5 levels are randomly generated, but they all have the same theme with the same set of enemies and visuals. This makes it so when you go into a level, you kinda know what to expect, it's just how is it going to throw it at you. Going into level 3? Yeah, okay, at some point there'll be these annoying troll dudes that hurl rocks at you, so get ready for that. That's never going to change, it's just when and how you see them. And while there's a decent variety in weapons and items, get ready to start seeing familiar faces pretty quickly. Really, I think a better way to put this is, for a game of this type, the length is a little lacking, and it becomes much more apparent when playing single player. And I really do recommend playing this with friends, it's just so much better that way. There's also problems with the hitboxes. You move in a 3D plane, but you're 2D, and the angle you need to come at enemies to hit them aren't too generous. It's not a huge problem, but sometimes you'll just stream a combo right below or above an enemy and completely miss them. My last gripe, and honestly this one can be pretty fun sometimes, is there's a handful of fairly exploitable strategies. Weapons' unique special abilities only require time for you to cast them again, so if you've got a healing staff, you can just spam healing and get a team to max before moving on to the next room. Or you can take a weapon whose ability is to generate money on a special hit, run in circles, wait for that to be back up, and poke them for the money, as long as you have the patience for it. Hell, some problems can be straight up solved by running in circles. We've had numerous times when all but one party member wiped, and because they were just attacking that person now, it was pretty predictable on how they were going to attack. So if they have a ranged special, they'll just wait until it's up, spam it, run in circles, and repeat until everyone's dead and then help everybody up. I'm not too sure if I can call this a big flaw with the game though, as it's honestly pretty exciting to watch and cheer on the one person hoping they can get everybody back up, but alone it feels like a totally exploitable grind. While this game isn't nearly as expansive as I would normally expect from something similar, it's priced to reflect that, and at $10 I think it's a pretty good deal. If you've got some friends and enjoy this genre, you could do a whole lot worse, as I've already put in over 15 hours into the game, and expect to be putting in more before I'm done with it.